What's up, people? This is William Jones making videos about leaving religion. The purpose of the videos is to get you to think, use logic, use reason, and realize that religion is fake. Alright, for this video, let me go ahead and start this video out. First, I want to say to those of you that are on Facebook, I recently started a Leaving Religion Facebook page. So if you'd like to come join the page, you are free to join. I have two admins, two nice women that will approve you once you just answer the question, and then you come on into the group and post or watch or comment, what have you. Alright, just friendly vibe, you know, not there to insult each other, just to post how we feel, be free to be you. Alright? Also in other news, I'm still working on the shirts. As y'all can see, left is right. I left religion, and that's right. So I'm still working on getting the t-shirts out. Had those for sale, you know, for those of you that might want those, so I'm working on that as well, okay? Alright, for this video, I'm just going to talk. It's a lot been going on. I mean, a lot been going on in the world. You know, this is 2020, we got the whole election circus about to happen until we vote in November. Yeah, I mean, this is just going to be a full-fledged circus. I can't believe you got the president tweeting. I mean, that's just me. I'm just, from back in the day watching how things used to be, you had to almost jump through hoops your whole life to be president. You couldn't have smoked a joint back in high school if you was going to be president in your 60s. And to see how that bar has dropped so low now and nothing's being done about it, it's just shocking to me. It's just shocking to me that anything goes. The things that used to not be acceptable are now acceptable. So we got that whole thing going on, this whole coronavirus thing going on. Viruses just popping up out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So that whole thing's going on, and it's just a lot going on in the world. And of course, you know, the religious people are going to be screaming, it's the last days. It's always the last days. From the first day, it was the last day. So they're going to keep screaming the last days no matter what. When they made the song, oh, happy day, oh, happy day, they all, look, they making this secular music. Oh, it's the last days. They call Oh Happy Day a secular song. So you can only imagine when Kirk Franklin did Stomp. And I remember that back in the 90s when he did Stomp and had Salt from Salt and Pepper, the rap group in there. And she did a verse, and after they had this song, let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. And they had all of that. And then Salt was in the gospel song with Kirk Franklin using a funkadelic song as the backdrop. And I remember that was back when I was doing shows all the time and I was rapping under the name B-Love the Prophet, when I was doing shows all the time, and they had all these groups that would come up, would do their little dance routines, and everybody was dancing the Stomp. I remember that so much. So it's always been the last days for the church. I mean, that's just the church. And yet again, like I say, I have kind of slacked off of really trying to talk reasonably with religious people because they lack the ability to reason by believing in these myths. I'm not saying it's all their fault when you've been, I mean, I was in it for years, so I mean 22, but really 44 years I was like in it. But 22 of those years, or a little bit more, I was like really in it. I was dedicated, reading the Bible and studying and what have you. And I will say I am happy to see that a lot of the information I put out has helped a lot of people be able to stand up to religious people and have some information. You know, not to just be out there, you left and they want to, but you know, jump on you, kangaroo court you. At least you have some things to say, even if you don't really know or haven't really read the Bible or really know the history is being told to you. So you'll have something to stand on. And I like to put a lot of things on the screen so you can see them, so you can't just say somebody said. You've seen it and you can look it up for yourself. It's right there. Whenever I'm quoting from the Bible, I like to put it on the screen so you can see what it says. And of course, you know how they do. Oh, I mean, yeah, it says this, but you know, you got to look at the etymology of this word. You got to look at what it says in the Greek. You got to look at what it says in the Hebrew. There are older manuscripts that see it. And like I say, you know, now it used to be the Bible was just the Bible and it had all this authority. It dropped with a hammer. And now the Bible is weak because we have information. The Bible is weak because we have the internet, which gives us information. And now the Bible needs help. It's like a tag team wrestling match. And y'all remember the old school wrestling when the one partner was getting beat up and the one person distracting the referee while the person waiting in the ring was secretly beating the guy in the ring, and he's struggling to get to his corner, and they dragging him away from tagging his partner, and we know they cheating and everything, and he finally tagged that partner, and the partner jumped in and he hit the dude in the ring, he hit the guy in the corner. You jump on everybody, you know what I'm saying? That's what the Bible needs right now. So now that's why they are out here now. They gotta go to other books and they gotta go to other information. They have to go to everything. But the bottom line is, even with everything that they show you, they can't show you Jesus and they can't show you God. They can't show you that no matter what they do. They can talk, but they'll never show you Jesus and they'll never show you God. They'll talk all this historical stuff, but we know that the things that Jesus did, nobody recorded it during that time. It wasn't so important that everybody was talking about it, and like the Bible said, the fame went out about him. Nobody mentioned it. Nothing happened from it. And even today, we see no effects from it. I mean, other people talking about it, but we don't see any power from it or any life-changing things coming from this. So, yet again, it is what it is. Religion, mythology. Religion, mythology. Same thing. Same thing. And I know today I was in a store talking with a woman, and she was helping me find some stuff I needed for a project I'm doing in the house. And we had a good conversation about a whole lot of things. And of course, at the end, she hit me with and you know, you got to plead the blood of Jesus over that. And in the name of Jesus, he's going to bless your house. In the name of Jesus, he's going to remove all the negativity out of your life. In the name of Jesus. And I'm just sitting there looking. And because we had such a good conversation before, I didn't give her the eye roll. I didn't give her none of that. I just gave her the, okay, I'm gonna let her have this, because fortunately, the day before I was wearing one of my left religion shirts, and she probably wouldn't have said all that to me because she just seen the shirt. But I had on just a regular shirt, so I just went on ahead and wore it and let her say all of that, and you blessed, and blah, 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 all the religious stuff. And it was like, okay, all right, you take care, you take care. But, you know, I'm like, if she only knew who she was talking to. If she only knew what I really did. So, this is what we have to deal with. This is what we have to deal with. So what I want to let y'all know is, like I said, all the backdrop that religion needs now. Religion needs help. They have to find new tricks to fool people into believing this myth in 2020. Okay? Now, if you look at, if you get on the internet and Google or Bing or what have you, and look at the numbers, I know like the elderly people, like my grandmother's age, in their 80s, let's say 80s, people in their 90s, of course, you know, no need to talk to these people about leaving religion. Impossible. I mean, it's just, it's pointless. It's pointless. That's embedded in them. That's where the phrase, you can't teach a new dog, I mean, what I'm talking about. You can't teach an old dog new tricks and not call them dogs. The saying is, once that thing is embedded in there, you're not going to get it out. So, but we're not worried about them because they're not on the front line leading anything. So, not worried about them. And then the baby boomers, those who are in their 60s and 70s, I mean, some may come out. They'll see the bull crap and they'll come out. And I'm not dogging anybody that comes out at whatever age. It's all good if you come out. I don't care if you're in your 90s. It's good you come out. But what I'm saying is the numbers for the ones in the 80s and 90s, for the amount of them being religious, is very high. That number is dropping as you come down in the ages. And as you come, like I'm Generation X. I'm born in 71, so I'm Generation X. And then my children, I think they're Generation Y. And because we found out it's not just the millennials, it's Generation Y, then the millennials. They kind of group together, but they're separate groups. But those generations, their numbers for people being religious is low. It's very low. They are not just believing this religious stuff, they are leaving it. I'm not even saying all of them leaving it, some of them just not even accepting it from the jump. After they left Santa Claus, Jesus was in there too. Boom, they left all of that. Like, none of this makes sense, so why do I have to believe it? It just doesn't make sense. So they are leaving in droves and just simply not believing. The world is changing, and the older folks, I mean, they can't accept it, but what are they doing? They're using new tactics to try to suck the people in. They're trying to use actually more secular, worldly things to get the younger people to come to church. That's what they're doing. It's all this separation from the world. Yeah, anybody in church knows church is a business. It's a business. It's not about religion. The religion is, yeah, that's the overhead, yeah. But it's a business. It's about bringing in that money. And you don't have no people there, you ain't making no money. So that's the whole thing is they got to find new ways to suck people into the myth to give that money. That's the bottom line. Religion is, it's slowly declining. It's slow, but it's declining. It is. There's a lot of us out here who don't believe. And like I said, I gotta have all this backdrop now. All this, the Bible it doesn't mean what it says. So it used to be you hand somebody a tract and it said, "For God so loved the world." Now when you question that, oh, you understand the etymology of it. See, this is the history of it. And so why doesn't it just mean what it says? So I need the Bible and other books. See, it used to be just you had the Bible, that was it. But now I need the Bible, and I need some other books, and I need some scholars to back up everything for me to believe this. That shows they're losing power. They are losing power. Really. What else was I going to say about that? The Bible. For those of you, like I said, when I got into the Bible, this is how it was for me. I'm the type of person that I always feel I'm behind in a lot of things, and so I overdo and end up doing too much. Okay? For example, and I can say this now, my kids is all grown. They're in their 20s now, right? When I was in school, I probably didn't do any school projects or do anything. I'm sorry. I wasn't into school when it was my time to be in school. I didn't get into school until my kids were in school, then I was all into it, right? So they would have projects to do, right? And I would do their projects for them. And, of course, tack their name on it. But I was like one of my kids had to have a doll house or a house, I don't know, some type of house built. And I took the popsicle sticks and I made this enormous house for one of my daughters. And everybody else's house was like a little itty bitty little popsicle, about the length of a popsicle stick. And I made a big giant house. My son had to make an atom for the project, and I took the thing and I made the atom and put the motor up there with the battery and had the atom where it was spinning. You know, one of my daughters had to have they do a building, and I think we did the Empire. We did the Empire. I did the Empire State Building, and by this point I had learned about the glue gun. Now, when I found out about the glue gun, because mind you, all the other ones I had done with Elmer's glue, where you got to let it sit, you know what I'm saying, before it got hard and all of that. And you got to wait for hours and let the stuff get hard before you go to the next part. But with the glue gun, as soon as it cooled, it was done. When I found out about the glue gun, I went nuts. So I made my daughter's an Empire State Building probably about 3 feet high. It was about 3 feet high. And I had an old amp that didn't work, and you know how with an amp you got the slots on it, so that you know, the air can come in and cool it down. And I took that thing out and I spray painted all the windows on it. I spray painted it gray from top to bottom. You know, this was early internet, and I had like a picture in a book and maybe one internet picture, and I made that thing and painted it all gray, and then took the black paint and spray painted the windows on it. That thing was immaculate. And I remember I had to go pick it up from the school, right? And I was like, I'm here to pick up my daughter's project. And it was like, they all in the library. And they was like, which one are you picking up? And I was like, you know, I said my daughter's name, and they kind of like rolled their eyes at me. So I go in there, I lie to you not. They had buildings that was probably as big as this phone. Some of them were just a block with a couple of things, like a couple of windows on, like a literal block. And hers was sitting there 3 feet tall, with the top all in detail, with windows all on it. And everybody rolled their eyes at me like, you did just too much. You did too much. Then I did one project for my daughter. Some of it was on my Facebook, only 2 of them on my Facebook page. We had to make a bird, and I made this giant bird out of cardboard and stuff. And then somebody else, uncle was an artist, he made a bird out of something. And they got like first place and we got second. I was like, oh, that's how we playing. So they cheating. They cheating. They got the uncle who's an artist to do theirs. They cheating. I'm the father, so that ain't cheating. So anyway, we had the next one to do. She had to have a windmill. This is on. I might post the pictures up here and show y'all that joint. I saw a windmill in somebody's yard. I took a picture of it. I took these popsicle sticks. I made this windmill probably 2.5 feet tall. Put the whole wind, you know, the spinning thing on it. I guess that's the windmill. I put a motor on that. Put a switch on the top. You click the switch and the damn windmill was spinning. It was churning out some air too. Because I'm gonna put the pictures up here by the time I do this video. And of course we got first place on that, and the teacher would not get he wouldn't get that windmill back. He kept it. But all that to say, I do too much. So let me get back to what I was talking about. So when I got into Christianity, and I was like 20, was I 20 or 21? It was in May of 1992. No, I was turning 21 that year, so I was 20 years old. Okay, so I got out when I was 44. I was 20. I was saying we're doing this 22 years. Technically I was doing 24 years. I guess I didn't count that. It was 24 years. So anyway, when I got into it, I'm like, well, now I'm behind, and everybody know the Bible but me. So I bought an NIV and I tore that Bible up. I tore that Bible up. I read and read and read and read and read. I read some more. I would be up, and I was a night person, so I would start, when Arsenio Hall would come on, in fact, yeah, back then, Arsenio Hall would come on at 11 o'clock. I would cut the TV off and read my Bible from about 11 o'clock at night till 6 in the morning. I ain't had no job, all right? So I would just read. Then I got a job being a barber at the barber shop. And when you're not cutting, you ain't got nothing else to do. I kept reading the Bible. I read so much of the Bible, I would mention stuff to other people, they ain't know nothing about it. Come to find out, Christians didn't read the Bible. So how do you not know this? It's in the Bible. I thought, yeah, but you've been a Christian all this time. They ain't know nothing about it because I just didn't know Christians carry a Bible as part of your, part of your outfit, like with a Barbie doll with a purse, but they don't actually read it. It's just something you got to have back then. You could just turn your phone on, go to the scripture, but you had to have that Bible with you. They got the pretty Bibles, matching Bibles, all that stuff, but they didn't read it. So I done too much and I done read all through the Bible, and I knew so much. And by this time I was rapping. And I was the type of rapper where I needed information to rap about. I could take any information and I could turn that information into a song. For instance, in high school, it was me and some other guys. I ended up going to a different high school. I did an extra year in my senior year. In my regular school, some stuff happened with my guidance counselor. She broke my spirit, and I was like, that year I ain't do nothing. So I went to another school because I moved. So nobody knew me at the school really. So, but they found out I rap. So the teacher put it on me and two other guys to make a rap about the U.S. government. And I wrote my rap right away. Found out all the information I had to write about, turned it into a rap, memorized it. So I had that rap in my mind all that time. And one day I just mentioned to him like, yo, you told us to write about the government thing, but you ain't never said nothing else. Oh, I forgot. So he called me and other guys up. And the first guy did his rap. And back then we was beatboxing. Okay, now, come on, this is 90, 89, 90. You ain't play no track. You beatbox. So when this dude was rapping, I beatbox for him. When that guy was rapping, I beatbox for him. When I was rapping, another dude either bang on the table or beatbox for me. So by the time I did my rap, they was reading off of papers and they wasn't really ready. My stuff was ready and my presentation was on. So when I started my joint, anyway, I don't know. I rapped about the government, right? And I mean, it was so in detail. To this day, I know about some of the government stuff because of that rap. Voting takes place first Tuesday of November. The House has 100, the Senate 40 members. You got to have evidence proving you're a resident in order to run. You must be 21. And I still remember all of that stuff, So they called in teachers from other classes and had me going around the school doing this rap. So when I got into Christianity, I was rapping before that, but it was all battle rapping. And I was battle rapping people back then, and I was the dude to battle because I would get information about you, just like they do on what's the guy name? Snap? Is it Snap? Where they do the battle rap? And you get information on the other person and you put that information into your rap. I was doing that back then. So if I got information on you, I heard you rap before, I'm going to put that into the rap and I'm going to say that about you. And so my attack was, when I rap was, I didn't rap like I was rapping against you. I rapped like I was teaching you how to rap. So you would rap and say stuff about me, and then I would come back and correct you in what you didn't do right while you was battling me. And I always won. And then one dude wanted to battle me in his hood with his people, which he thought he won because everybody was his people. But where he messed up was, all of his raps, he mentioned my name. I'm like, oh, so you can't rap this rap against anybody because you mentioned my name. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that went. But anyway, the point being, I had the Bible now, and I had all of this new information. And I took all of this new information, and it was one of my people's. It's in the song I got called Little History. And it's online too, actually on my Christian page. And I was rapping how she was like, she heard me rap and was like, oh, you ought to do this for the Lord. And I was like, man, that's just, That's stupid and silly.
Judy Braithwaite or Miss B, who is no longer living, was a queen. At her house is where I met Larry Gibson, Janelle, his younger sister, right before she married Billy. And she told me I should rap for the Lord. It sounded silly. I thought I lost my skills, but
I ended up doing it. Somebody else said, man, if anybody could do it, you could do it. So I became this Christian rapper. I would take the information from the Bible, turn it into a rap. I didn't rap fast. No, I was real clear with what I said. I made sense with what I was saying, and it just took off. And so I do it at this church. I did one song. And then somebody heard me at the first performance. Can you come to our church and do it? Yeah. Somebody hear me there. Can you come to our church and do it? Yeah. Can you come to our church and do it? Yeah. Then somebody said, can you come back to our church? Now I got to write another song, because I can't come back and do the same song. So then that forced me to write another song. Then after this, I started writing more songs, writing songs. I had more information. And before you knew it, every weekend I'm at somebody's church doing a song. Doing a performance. So it just took off. Then I ended up making CDs and started selling the CDs. Be Love the Prophet. Check it as I drop it. And it just took off from there, So that was my life. And it's crazy when people are like, you was never really saved. That is so stupid when you hear what people said after I rapped. Oh, you so anointed. The Holy Ghost was running all through you and everything. I got this on my CD. It's on the CD.
Appreciate that ministry. Just anoint. Didn't you feel the anointing? I felt the anointing of God while that young man rapped. And it made so much sense. Oh my God. And it was so scriptorial. It was just all right. Hallelujah. Let's give God a great big hand for Brother Beloved. Oh yes. Such a tremendous. I think we need to encourage our young people and let them know how much we appreciate the gift that God has given them. And I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I done heard some rappers, but I have never heard a Christian rapper like that in my life. Oh, they can pump it up, but they don't have no substance. That young man got some substance, and I appreciate that. Hallelujah. Let's give God a great big hand for Brother Beloved.
So when they say things like that, they're only trying to protect their religion, because it's what they're saying sounds stupid. Stupid. Man, I was doing shows all over. I was on TV. I was in the newspapers. You know what I'm saying? I was on panels. I was in places I ain't had no business being as a young 20-year-old person. It just took off of me. I was getting paid. My family was eating off of these CDs and stuff. And then I guess as I got older, it turned into speaking, because I was tired of rapping. I like making the songs, but I didn't like performing. But that's what it was. I guess I'm giving y'all some history on me. My history, okay? So what was I? All right, here's what I was going to say. The Bible is like a rap song from a new artist. A fresh new artist who has absolutely nothing. That's what it's like. You got I remember when I had some guys come over to my house one time to record, and they was like 15, 16 years old and lived in the neighborhood, because one of them's uncle was cool with me. So I had the digital recording equipment, so that was all new to them. And when they recorded their stuff, they were 15, 16, mind you. And they were talking about being in the club and having money and cars. And I was like, y'all live what you got with your parents. You know, I didn't understand, you know, people rapped about stuff that wasn't real, because I always rapped about what was real. So I'm like, but y'all live with your parents. You staying over here with your uncle. And y'all 15, you ain't going to no clubs. And y'all ain't got no money. And I know this. But that's what they heard being rapped. So that's what they rapped about. You got a new artist. Come on, Special Ed came out with I Got It Made. I got land in the sand of the West Indies. Even got a little out of them, my very own. I got a frog. A dog with a solid gold bone. Come on. This is his first song coming out. He ain't had no money. He was 16. You're rapping about something you wished you had, or to set an image, but yet you actually don't have. And that's what the Bible is about. Israel was a small group of people that came out of Canaan. They were Canaanites. You had a group of Canaanites called themselves Israelites to separate from the name, and they were a small group with no power, no money, no nothing. And this book comes out, and starting from God creating the universe, the earth and everything, and then you go through Adam and Seth, and you know, we go through all of that to Noah, all the way down to Abraham. Then from Abraham, then you get Isaac and Jacob. Jacob, name changed to Israel, has 12 sons, and now we got Issachar and Simeon and Reuben and Gad and all of the Israelites, right? And then they go to Egypt, and they're in bondage there for 400 years, and they come out, they wander in the desert for 40 years, and Joshua comes up, they win all these wars, and they take over Canaan. Look, Canaan, where they were from anyway, which was actually ruled by Egypt at the time, right? They then took over Canaan. Okay, that's what they're saying. It's a rap song. It's where you really want to be, but none of it's true. None of it's true. None of it is true. Understand this. None of it's true. I had a guy on Facebook, when I said something about Joshua didn't win those battles, and he's talking about, how do you know how you know it's not historical what Joshua did? Let's look at what led to Joshua. Let's go back to Moses. Yeah, Moses, mama put him in the basket when he's 2 years old, so he wouldn't get killed, because Herod, not Herod the Great, they stole that whole story, put it in for Jesus, the same thing. And with Moses was the Pharaoh commanded the 2-year-olds be killed. They took the same thing. It's called typing, or what is it? Here we go. Let's get it. It's where you take things from an older story and put it into the newer story, but it's stolen things. It's a typing. Let me show y'all the book. I got the book. I done had this book for years. I can't show you without the light. Y'all can see it right here. Seeing Christ in the Old Testament. Now, how do you see Christ in the Old Testament? Because they stole it from the from the Old Testament and put it in the New Testament. So Moses has the Pharaoh killing all the 2-year-olds. Jesus, Herod the Great, killing all the 2-year-olds, which never happened. Moses ends up in Egypt. Jesus ends up in Egypt. Moses goes up to the mountain and fasts for 40 days while he's taking out the 10 commandments, or 15 commandments, then he broke them and went back up and got 10. Okay. Jesus in the wilderness for 40 days. He's fasting. The story is stolen. It's stolen. They want to make their most powerful character was Moses. So now you got to make Jesus more powerful than Moses. The wisest king was supposedly Solomon. The richest king was supposedly Solomon. But now here comes Jesus with more wisdom than Solomon, which means God lied to Solomon, saying he'd be the wisest, unless you want to say he's a king, but they always say King Jesus. But then it's take it how you want to take it. But then in history, we talk about Mansa Musa, whom I want to talk about one day. Mansa Musa was a king who is mentioned as the richest person in history. They don't even mention Solomon. Solomon's not even brought up in the conversation. Why? Because Solomon is in the fiction side. I'm not saying there wasn't an actual Solomon. There was a King David, and I believe there was a King Solomon, but the stories about them are exploited. It's not real. But anyway, back to the story. So I'm like, this guy, you want to talk about Joshua. We're talking about Moses. And we're talking about Moses then with the rod, and throw the rod down and the rod becomes a serpent. And then the Pharaoh's magicians throw their rods down, they become serpents. But Moses' serpent devours their serpents, and then he grabs the tail and turns back into a rod. We're talking about the 10 plagues, which go against the 10 gods, 10 different gods in Egypt. We're talking about where he parts the Red Sea, and over 1 million people go through on dry ground. We're talking about where a rock gave out water. We're talking about where manna rained down from heaven. We're talking about when God had all the quails come down, they ate the quails till they got sick. Now, Joshua. Come on. Everything that leads up to Joshua is fictional. So why are we even talking about Joshua when it's been proven that the battles that Joshua supposedly led happened in some places that never existed? In some of the places came to be after the fact, right? We're talking about places, especially when they say Moses wrote it. How can Moses write it? No, my bad. I'm getting ahead of myself. They saying Moses wrote the Torah, but Moses' death is contained in the Torah. For those of you that don't know what the Torah is, it's the first 5 books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. And they're saying that Moses wrote it, but it's not written in first person. If you say, in the beginning, God created heavens and the earth, were you there? If you weren't there, well, God told him, but were you there? So even if you weren't there, it's still secondhand information. How do you know he did it? How do you know another God didn't do it? How do you know another person didn't do it? Another entity didn't do it? Why we had to use the term God? So nobody could be there to witness this, because if Adam was the first person, how do you know? Come on, let's deal with this, right? How do you know? In the beginning, you wasn't there. So all of this, when we go with this, we go to Moses, we go to everything, it doesn't add up, doesn't make sense. The whole Joshua thing, the whole Moses thing, if your death is recorded, your death and your body was buried where nobody knew, and then stuff went on after your death, how did you write it? How did you write about things after your death? You couldn't have. So the same thing with Joshua, it didn't happen. This stuff is all a rap song where they wanted to be, but they never were. Oh, it was great, and Solomon had his temple, and Israel had all his power. I did the one about the Steelies, right? With all of that stuff, and they was always getting conquered. So when were y'all powerful? You were powerful before all of that because you never were. That was your backstory to say where you came from, because there was no history about you before all of this stuff. So you had to write a backstory of where you came from when you were actually just Canaanites. It's a rap song by a people that had no history. It didn't happen. So y'all rest assured that when you're defending yourselves, these folk, and don't show me nothing written by no Christian or a Christian apologist. Because I'm going to say it again, Christian apologists are liars. When you're hearing it from a Christian, they are lying. Christians lie to protect this myth. It's not real. It's not real. Well, look at here, y'all. Because of technical things and my stuff going on, I'm going to have to end this video right here. I'm going to end it here. I don't know how long I've been talking. And I still got more videos coming. And yet again, y'all see the shirt. You see the shirts. And I want to have these shirts available for people who want to wear them. Who want to wear them. If you're brave enough to wear them. If you can wear a Jesus Fake Bra shirt, maybe you can wear this. People know where you come from. You know what I'm saying? Left is right. I left religion, and that's right. So I'm going to get back with y'all with another video soon. And y'all take care out there and be strong. Stay away from the myths. Use your logic, use your reason. You know religion is fake. And I'll holler back at y'all again. Peace.